This Sacred Thread by Heather K. Januels. They once dwelled among us, the people of memory. They who knew us, they who taught us, they who heard us, they who loved us. They touch our lives again and again through their presence and their absence, through familiar scents and favorite songs, through old stories and renewed sorrow. As the earth turns and leaves fall, we reach back to renew the bonds between us. With hearts and hands open, we hold on to love, ever stronger than death. We reach back in gratitude and understanding. Without our time together, the pain and the joy, we would never be who we are today. We would have little to pass on ourselves. Without fear, with thanksgiving, and with hope for all that awaits, we remember those who have gone before. We honor the circle of life and death and our place within this sacred thread. Our meditation today will be a guided one. In the old pagan traditions, death was seen as a natural part of life, a time of transformation or recycling, if you will. The dead were believed to be present in the wind and the trees and in the new life that keeps emerging. Samhain is the new year in the time of the old year's death, when the dead walk in our memory, and to the living is revealed the mystery that every ending is but a new beginning. Let us now join in a ritual of remembering. Close your eyes if you are comfortable doing so, or just let your gaze soften on a spot in front of you, and imagine that you are setting sail across a sunless sea toward the shores of the future. We are in sight of the far shore. See the light on the waves, a shroud, a track to follow. Step into the surf, step ashore. Cast off your bonds and be free, for there is no binding. Cast off the veils that cloud your sight, for here all eyes are opened. You warriors, here your battles are over. You workers, here your tasks are done. You who have been hurt, here find healing. You who are old, here grow young again. For this is the land of youth, the shining land, the Isle of Apples. Here woods never fail. Here there is a tree, the heart of light. Here there is a well of silence. Sink down beside that deep green well. Gaze into your own depths and discover yourself. Breathe deeply and feel the power of transformation. Now, allow yourself to remember people who have died. Call to mind images of those special people who live on in your memory. People who loved you, people who challenged you, people who made a lasting impact on your life. Permit yourself to feel not only the pain of losing them, but also the joy of remembering them. Breathe deeply and enjoy those memories. And when you are ready, return to this room and open your eyes. Behold the pomegranate, fruit of life, which is death. Behold the apple, fruit of death, which is life. Here is the circle of rebirth. Through us all passes out of life, but through us all may be born again. Everything passes, changes. Seed becomes fruit, fruit becomes seed. In birth we die, on death we feed. In us the circle is ever turning. Blessed be.
For the Living by Rosemary Watola Trommer. It is the work of the living to grieve the dead. It is our work to wake each day, to live into the world that is. It is our work to weep, and it is our work to be healed. Some part of us knows not only the absence of our beloveds, but also their presence, how they continue to teach us, how they invite us to grow. It is our work to be softened by loss, to be undone, destroyed, remade. Wounded, we recoil, and it is our work to notice how, like crushed and trampled grass, we spring back. It is our work to meet death again and again and again. And though it aches to be opened, it is our work to be opened, to live into the opening until we know ourselves as blossoms nourished from within by the radiance of the ones who are no longer physically here. They have given us their love light to carry. It is our work to be in service to that light.
It is the work of the living to grieve the dead, to be mindful not only of their absence, but also of their presence, to be mindful how our deceased loved ones continue to shape us, even after death, to remember them. It is our spiritual work to stay open in a world of impermanence and therefore of loss, to cultivate gratitude along with our grief. It is our work to carry the love light of our beloved dead forward and to become good ancestors ourselves for future generations who will remember us. The work of the living with respect to the dead has three parts, it seems to me, all interrelated: to grieve, to remember, and to act. The work of grief. Last week, we talked about the practice of radical compassion as intentionally cultivating a heart of flesh rather than a heart of stone. Allowing ourselves to grieve is an essential part of this practice because grief is the price of love. Love and grief are two sides of the same coin That's just the way it is in this world that's always changing, always turning, cycling through birth, death, and transformation. But we live in a death-denying, grief-avoidant culture. We say things like, if I die. And we are supposed to be happy all the time. If we're not, there must be something wrong with us, something we need to fix immediately or at least hide. Few of us receive the kind of support we need to be fully present with grief and loss, our own or others. We are conditioned to shut down in 100 different ways, which makes it more difficult to find our way back to wholeness after a beloved one has died. So part of our work, the work of the living, is to make space for grief, to allow it, to know that loss and grief are part of love, and thus part of a full and wholehearted life. Easier said than done. The pain of grief can be intense, unpredictable, and world-shattering. But that doesn't have to be the end of the story, and it doesn't have to be borne alone. Zen priest and grief expert Dr. Joanne Cacciatore writes, "To fully inhabit grief is to hold the contradictions of the great mystery that loss shatters us and we become whole. We mourn our beloved's absence and we invoke their presence. We cease to exist as we once were, and we become more fully human. We know the darkest of all nights, and in so doing, can bring the light of our loved ones into the world." Here in religious community, we can make space for grief, accompany each other through it, honoring and sustaining the love that is at its core. It is our work to weep, to let the tears flow, to bathe in them together as we support each other through heartbreak and loss, and it is our work to weave ourselves whole again in community. May there be such a oneness between us, writes Khalil Gibran, that when one weeps, the other tastes salt. The work of remembering. One of the ways we weave ourselves whole again after the death of a loved one is through active remembrance, through telling stories, sharing memories, building altars, keeping mementos, honoring anniversaries, doing things our loved ones used to do, eating what they loved to eat, listening to their favorite music, telling their favorite jokes, and engaging in rituals like this one. Through such acts of remembrance, we express our ongoing love for those who have died and nurture our relationships with them. Death ends a life, but not a relationship. Through acts of remembrance, we continue weaving our deceased loved ones into our hearts and minds, relating to them, and into the hearts and minds of those who come after us, our children and their children too. Grieving, remembering, and acting. When a loved one dies, Rosemary Bertola Trommer says, they give us their love light to carry. It is our work to be in service to that light. What was the particular love light of your deceased beloved? The one you are honoring today, maybe put on the altar? You might want to close your eyes and reflect for a minute on that. What was the love light of your deceased beloved? Were they an artist who shared love and created light through their craft? Was it their kindness that brought light into the world, or their wisdom, their infectious joy, their persistence, their faith? How did they manifest love? And how can you be a bearer of their light? What small acts might you do to be in service to it, to keep their love light burning in the world? And finally, gratitude, our theme for the month of November. At some point in the grief process, usually not at the beginning, gratitude arises. Dr. Joanne Cacciatore calls this the gift curse of grief. The realization that everything is temporary and therefore unspeakably precious. She writes, when we come to deeply be with the finitude of our lives and the lives of those we love, our appreciation for everything is deepened. We touch a vibrancy, a richness, and we begin to wake up. This other person we love could die at any time, and we too will die. We realize that every moment is a secret cache. Each breath is an offering, and every increment of time is irreplaceable. Honoring our beloved dead today, let us make space in our lives for grief. Let us make a practice of remembering those who came before us. Let us carry their love light forward. Let us savor the preciousness of life as it unfolds moment by moment. As the season turns and the veil between the living and the dead is thin, let us honor the strands of love that connect us across space and time, now and forever. May it be so.